See, 6 extra large.
Hoki mai ki Warren Fitness. Ko tahi rau, whitutakau ngā kilokarama te toimahatanga a Terry Ehau. Nō reira, kua tohungia e Terry mā te pokaina ia tūpuhi haere ai.
She feels kind of hard taste now. So yeah, you know, look at that. I could almost put a second one of me in there.
He toru ngā wahanga o te māhere rautaki a Terry. Ko ngā whakaritenga ki mua I te poka. Ko te poka, ko te whakamauoratanga muri mai I te poka me te tiakitanga.
Part of the whole operation was the preparation before I actually went and had the operation over in Waikato. And for about a month before the operation, I had to go on to a liquid diet because I wasn't taking any fat into my diet. My liver shrunk, and what it did, it pulls up out of the way of my stomach. Naturally, I cheat a wee bit. I just put a bit more water because in my head that meant I was having more to eat. But in fact, you know, water's got no calories or anything like that. So to that, I just added some vegetables. So like some mushrooms, just cut it up, chucked them in, and some courgettes, which I mean, these are vegetables that I like as well. Chucked it in there, and some tomato. And you just end up with a really thick soup. I mean, usually I just drop it into a bowl and nuke it, or you could put it onto the stove and nuke it. I'll try it cold. I mean, even that's pretty good. And so, like, I mean, I lived on this sort of stuff for a month. It's probably not the most fantastic food to eat, but hey, you know, it's okay. And I mean, I think it's a really nice flavour. You want to try some? Grab a glass.
Yes,
I'll give you some. Grab a glass.
Try some.
No, no.
Oh gosh, that's enough.
Yeah, you'd actually quite like it, and you know, like you can heat this up or have it cold. So, like, I just have it cold because it's simple for me.
Oh, I can feel my liver shrinking already. Oh, how did you stay on it for a month?
Well, because it was a very finite period. I knew if I stuck on it for a month, what the result would be. So that was the most important thing. What do you reckon? Is it pretty good?
Well, I have to say, on a serious note, this is quite good. It's not, I thought it would be quite vile, but it's actually nice. It's like tomato soup from a shop. See, Terry?
Tūturu, ko ngā tangata e āhei ana ki tēnei pokatanga, ko ngā tangata ko tōna BMI neke atu I te tōru tekau mārima. Tōru tekau mārima te BMI. Ko rātou nā mea tino momona. Engari, I ngā kaupapa hauora o nai nei, he rua noiho nei ngā tāngata ka taia tēnei pokatanga. Taku mōhio ka āhua te kau ngā tāngata I a tau ka āhei nei ki tēnei pokatanga. So ka tika taku kōrero he rua noiho ngā tāngata ka taia I raro I te kaupapa ka utua I te kāwanatanga. Engari, atu I tērā, toko maha no atu ngā tāngata ka āhei nei ki tēnei pokatanga. Engari, me momona tonu, e hara tēnei hei whakapai tinana no iho, me momona. Neke atu te BMI I te tōru tekau.
Nā te poka, te puku o Terry heki iho ki te āhua o tētahi heki. Nō reira, ka āta whakawā ko ngā kai me te nui o te kai ka kainga e ia.
For the first 6 months or so, and don't quote me on this, but like I could eat a half a cupful of food. Okay, and that slowly increased over time, so I could eat a cupful of food. But a cupful of food is a lot of food. So also that was about, physically I would eat so much and that's all I could eat. And then I would know straight away that I was full, so I would stop. So part of the stuff was about listening to the messages your brain received. You know, whereas in the past you ignored it and go, oh, no, I can have another feed, she'll be right. One of the issues was wind. So it's like a baby that gets colic. And so that was a biggie. So every time I got colic or wind, it would be really, really painful. Seafood was my saviour actually, because like when I first started eating again and everyone else would be having a huge barbecue, with oysters and all that sort of stuff, and all I could do was drink the oyster juice. But for me, that was great. I mean, and I loved it. Well, pretty messy looking fridge. Really like food, so if the food is there, I'll eat it.
Tai hoa ake Terry, he ha tēnā ki roto I tō pauaka mātau. Kei raro ko ngā hua rākau, ka pai, engari, he ha kei runga. Au ko te miraka, ko te kirimi, ko te tihi, ko te maio, te tihi kirimi, te kirimi kawa, e hara ērā I te kai whakapuango.
Nowadays, I eat very little meat at all, and if I do eat meat now, it's a very high quality meat and a very small amount of it. And it's the quality and how I cook it. Now that's the difference in what I actually do, yeah. For steak, for example, I've got some eye fillet steak, and like this would probably last me about 4 or 5 meals. For me now, the presentation on my plate is as important as the food that I'm eating. I mean, it's all part of the gastronomic experience. What I'm going to cook today actually is I'm just going to do a variation on how you cook crayfish. So, you know, normally when we cook crayfish, we chuck the whole thing in or chuck 5 of them in a pot and then nothing stops until the crayfish is all eaten. So I'm just going to look at a different way of cooking crayfish where you eat a lot less of the crayfish itself or the crayfish goes a lot further. I guess at the end of the day, I'm a closet chef, always have been. And like, you know, it was my intention a long, long, long time ago to become a chef, but I made other choices in those days, so I get a chance to do it now and practice on my family. I guess one of the things is, same as anything, you know, if you do the moderation, it's fine. It's when you cook too much of everything that you start worrying about the capacity in which you're going to get rid of it. When you fry this up, you just put it on the plate like that, and it looks really cool, eh? I use grapeseed oil, that's when I'm cooking normal stuff. But if I want to get flavours in it, I use avocado oil because it's got a real high burning point, so you can heat it up. And I use sesame seed oil to give it a really nice flavour. So you only need really, really little bits, like a teaspoon of the oil when you start cooking your food. So, I mean, that's a very small amount of oil. And you just drop the courgettes in there. And what we want to do with this is make sure that they burn a little bit, because that's where you're going to get your flavour, is the browning bit. I mean, this stuff here doesn't take long to cook. You can see it's starting to brown up already. Just chuck these back into this bowl. You cook the stuff first, that's going to take a little bit longer to cook. And so that's just the onions. Put a little bit of water just to get the steam going. And then put the lid on it. And then like it, just give it a shake, get those flavours going around. And so, you know, hey, that's virtually all you need with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to chuck that stuff back in there, because what I want now is all those flavours to combine. Put that into that bigger bowl. And the one other thing I'll cook right now is the tomatoes. Just a drop of oil. And that's all I do there. Okay, and I'll just leave that for a little while and I'll get back to the crayfish. Now, you know, hey, there's a lot of people going to look at me and think, oh man, that fella's crazy, what a waste of crayfish. But same as everything, like, you know, you don't waste anything. So all I want out of this today is the tail. I just cut it through the segments. It's just a wee bit of butter on the bottom and we just chuck those in. And we're just going to fry these on both sides. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 portions. So 7 portions is a lot in a meal nowadays. So like if this could be for 2, with those vegetables and this, it's enough for 2 people.